Good morning, everybody. Hi, I guess good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm really glad you're here today. With everything we're going through right now, I think we have some really good news with Sun going into Aries. A lot of the astrologers, I'm sure as you're checking out YouTube, you'll see we're all waiting for this event to come to continue to turn the tide in a more positive direction. So let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get started. Okay, so here we are with 2020 Sun's transit into Aries. And again, this is where Aries is exalted and it's going to bring healing and strength. And I also think it's going to bring us a sense of confidence and courage with all the changes we've been going through in the last several months. So my name is Ramdas, Bill Sinclair, and I'm very happy to be with you this morning. This picture I'm sharing, you'll see, is several years old, but it was taken in India when I was on a trip that was honoring all the Mars temples. So we went to all the different Mars temples, and so that picture to me, the face and the eyes, I'm really revved up on that Mars energy. So I thought I would share that today since we're featuring Aries so much. All my social media contacts are down there at the bottom of the screen. I hope you'll follow me so that we can stay in touch. I also want to thank you for supporting ACVA. I invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you go to YouTube and search American College of Vedic Astrology, you'll come up. And I also want to let you know that I'll be posting this webinar up there this afternoon. So you can have access to all of this monthly series. Additionally, you can go to acvaonline.org and sign up for a monthly newsletter. And as always, I always want to put this out there that ACVA is a recognized tax-free charity. So you can make donations to us at PayPal1@acvaonline.org. We always appreciate the support, and anything you give helps. So keep that in mind. So let's begin now with a couple mantras. First, we'll say a mantra to Ganesha, to open the knowledge for us today so that we can see clearly what we're supposed to learn from the planets. And then we'll do this Maha Mrityunjaya mantra, which is a mantra for healing. And I think for the world, this is a great thing, a great practice to be doing every day. So just take a breath, sit back and relax. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiyam Amritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiyam Amritat. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mokshiyam Amritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Okay. So today we're gonna just go over Sun in Aries. What does that mean? Then we're gonna look at some other key transits, and then we'll be going sign by sign, and I'll be sharing some of my ideas about how this may manifest for each of the zodiac signs. And there'll be time at the end for discussion. So I also like to say, because a lot of people in this group are very accomplished astrologers, there's a million things you could say about Sun in Aries. So these are some ideas, by no means the end all be all. And hopefully this will inspire you to perhaps think of new ideas or different things. So the Sun is going to be in Aries from April 14th up through May 13th. And I'm using the sunrise chart based in Seattle, which is Pacific, for all this presentation. So let's just take a moment here and look at the chart real quickly. I'll give you this. So let me get this out of the way. Great. So the first thing you see here that came to my mind is we're inside the Kalasarpa Yoga at this time. So the Kalasarpa Yoga, it's very interesting because I was doing some research on this, and it tends to manifest in 5 ways. The most common manifestation for this is troubles with marriage, delay in marriage, lack of marriage, things like that. So it has a relationship impact. The second most frequent manifestation is difficulties with children. So either, again, delay of children, problems with children, things like that. It always causes problems. And the next one is health issues. So it's very interesting that we would be in a Kalsarpa Yoga cycle when this whole pandemic came up. So the Kalsarpa Yoga started this year on February 23rd, which is right when it really kind of took off around the world, especially, in the US, it started to grow. And that it'll end on May 25th. So there's 4 different cycles. And so we're in this. So health is just indicated by this. The second thing is profession. And of course, we've had massive unemployment in the US and I believe around the world because of the economic shutdown, the quarantine to control the virus. And the third indication is finance. So I found it very interesting. We've never seen a Kalasarpa manifest like this before, but it's quite interesting to just think of that 3 of those 5 indications have really become prominent in that. The second thing I noticed is that the sun is in a Shubhakatara yoga. He has 2 benefics on either side of him. So this gives sun additional strength. And then I started to look at the planetary energy of each planet. Sun is exalted, Venus is in its own sign. The nodes, Rahu and Ketu, are in their Mula Trikona sign. And further, they are even in their own nakshatra. So Rahu is in Ardra, ruled by Rahu, and Ketu is in Mula, ruled by Ketu as well. So this is very, very potent nodal axis that we're experiencing right now. Then we have the moon, which is in the it's 9th from the sun. This is the power of looking at many different lagnas. You can see moon is there, which is going to give some good fortune. Then we have Jupiter debilitated. Saturn's in his own sign, Mars is exalted, and Mercury is debilitated. So if we look at that, there's no middle of the road planets. They're, in the very top couple, categories, or they're debilitated. So it's a very, I would say extreme energy. And we are in fact living through an extreme time that we have never seen before. The other thing I noticed is that both Jupiter and Mercury are debilitated. So this means for all of the signs, so Gemini, the Virgo, Sag, and Pisces, the Lord of all of these signs is debilitated right now. The good news is Mercury is going to move very quickly through Pisces, so it won't go on for very long. But so I just looked at this and I thought, there's really kind of a lot of extreme stuff going on here. And the good thing about the sun is, he is about leadership and command. And Aries itself is about leadership, control, and command. So we have a strong king coming in to help, I think, wrestle, contain, and balance all this, kind of extreme energy. I made some notes on this. Let me see if I covered it. Oh, we also have a Raja Yoga here. We have the 9th and 10th lords from the sun in the 10th house. And they're both in the sun's nakshatra of Uttarashada. Now, Uttarashada, the symbol there is a plain cot. So it's kind of the renunciate. So this is going to be a trying time, but it's saying that in order to get that good, the Raja Yoga, the strength of in the 10th house, which is the karma house, the strength of our actions is in self-sacrifice and a little bit of austerity and isolation, which I think really beautifully shows what is working. So we see here how the chart is supporting that. Let's see what else. I think I covered those strengths. Yes. And then I wanted to say also that the moon is the Atmakaraka for this chart. It has the highest degrees. So this is, a lesson to all of us about the strength is the moon, and the moon is with Ketu. So that's always a challenging position, but you'll see they're in different nakshatras. But actually, if we think of the Pada, which is, the D9 chart, 26th degree would be in the 8th sign. So the 8th pada of Sagittarius, and that starting from Aries would put the moon in a debilitated nakshatra. Sorry, in a debilitated pada in the D9. And I'll go over that in a little more detail in a moment. I think someone's not muted. Let me check. Please check and see if you're muted because I'm hearing some background noise. Let me see. Okay, it seems to have cleared up. Great. So we were talking about the moon, and it's strong there. It's good by house, Rashi, it's fine. It's in a neutral sign. But in the Navamsha, it's in its debilitated pada. So this could also represent the emotional struggle that we're all going through. I mean, K2, moon with K2 can bring fear, anxiety, and I think that's part of all of our lives right now and will be for this next period of time. Jupiter is also in a Sakata yoga when it's 212 from the moon. And this means that things are going to be changing. So this is going to give us a sense of, instability will continue. Jupiter is also the Nati Karaka. And this is the planet that's in the next to the lowest degree. And this tends to give issues as well. So I think if we take that as the Nadi Karaka, that it's, I think the next to the lowest degree because the sun is actually, I believe, the Dara Karaka. Yeah, the lowest one. So we would see here that Jupiter is, gonna continue to give us, this is where our sufferings be. And again, Jupiter represents for us a sense of protection. And it gives us, the only way we avoid fear is when we feel protected. And right now, because of his low placement, because of his debilitation, and even in the early degrees of the sign, we don't have a natural sense of optimism and protection. So we have Jupiter and Moon both doing, both kind of reinforcing the emotional experiences that we're having right now. So, we can start to take action on those, we can just propitiate Jupiter. And so, say the Guru mantras or just, wear yellow on Thursday, or just be aware that these are a planetary trend and that we can really, that's the influence they're giving, but we don't have to buy into it completely. We have our own free will and we can lean more into the strength of the sun, as if we feel that things are going. So the easiest thing is we're lucky here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going into summer. So see the sun, get out, take a walk, almost everyone can do that still in the US, or just make sure you open up your blinds and curtains so that you have plenty of sunshine in the house. It really will help to pick up your mood. So I think those are the major ideas that I had to share on that chart. So the next thing I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about Sun in Aries. Sun is exalted at 10 degrees of Aries. And so this gives the opportunity for him to give the 100% of his best qualities. And I think we will get a lot of those qualities. As Sun's key attributes are health, vitality, and energy. So those are going to be more available to us. He represents government and leadership. And I think that we're learning how important it is to have an organized, strong government on a country by country and global level so that we can share resources and really help people wherever, the disease is coming, the hot spots they're talking about. And also it gives self-confidence and courage. So coming out of Pisces, where he's more hidden, I believe we'll see a definite impact that will be really noticeable. I want to note that his exact exaltation is on April 24th. So this is a red letter day to put on your calendar and make sure that you observe him. And you can say the, Surya mantras or, Bija mantras. You can look them up online. Be sure and wear, red that day. The simple stuff. The other thing I think that's very interesting, especially to us now, is if we look at the nakshatras that make up the sign of Aries. I think we all know that, like, the first nakshatra is Ashwini, and it's related to health and healing. But I found it very interesting that it's ruled by Ketu, which is right now one of the primary indicators of this virus. But it's rajasic on all three levels, which means that there's going to be intense action for searching, for exploring new ideas, for researching all of these things. The sun is going to be powering that. And the Shakti that David Frawley gives for Ashwini is power to quickly heal and reach things. So I think this is the two things that dominates the news cycle is the effects of the disease and the need for protective, personal protective equipment, the need for goods and services to help those who are sick and to prevent people from getting sick. So we're going to see big movement in those two areas, and that will be April 14th until April 25th. Then we move into Rohini, which continues to be very rajasic and searching for answers. And this is the power to cleanse and remove impurity. So again, it's about, like whoever thought you would see a day in your life where when you get home from the grocery store, you would wipe down the packages of the food that you just bought. So, I mean, this is like this whole sanitizing thing, this, the social distancing, the wearing the masks. So it's about cleansing and improving. This would be April 26th through May 9th. And then we move into Kritika, the sun's own nakshatra. And this is from May 10th to May 24th. And the Shakti here is the power to burn. Now, what I understand that to mean in this context is when we burn something, in Vedic thought, it's transforming it. So it's like the smoke that carries the food to the gods from the fire. So there's a great time of transition and transformation that will come in. The sun will really be supporting that from May 10th through May 24th. And then I want to really drill down to the padas, because the padas are the placement of the sun as he moves through the sign, where he will move in the D9 chart. And the D9 chart shows how things will really come to fruition in many ways. So we can see that from April 14th to 16th, he's in Aries. So he's exalted and he's Vargotama, okay? And then he goes into Taurus for a couple days, the 17th and 19th. So that's an enemy sign for him. For April 20th to 23rd, he's in a neutral sign of Gemini. And you can see he moves into Cancer until the 26th. And this is where his exact exaltation comes in a friendly sign. So it's a nice balance between the sun being in Mars's sign and then in this pada of Cancer. The strong time is April 27th through 30th when he's in his own sign of Leo. He's in a neutral sign of Virgo from May 1st to 3rd. And then from May 4th to 7th, he moves through Libra, which is his debilitated pada. So it's interesting to think about this as you're really tracking the sun through his transit and see what's going on. And the rest of the time, he's in a friend sign in Scorpio and Sagittarius. So if you need to fine tune something, an event, that goes with the sun or something, you're going to want to try to pick the exalted, the friend, or the own Mula Trikona signs. The enemy and debilitated padas, it'd be best that you can just, if you can move something, do it on May 8th or 9th rather than May, 7th. So I think this would be an interesting experiment to just track and see how things go, and just to become aware of really 3 layers. You have the planet in the sign, you have the planet in the nakshatra, and then you have the planet in the D9 in the pada, to really get a sense of how those layer together. So we're gonna move on to the other transits, the major transits that are happening here, and see, what's coming up. So this is the little monthly grid that I make. And this year on the top row, the second row, you can see that I added some red letter days. So I added the 14th, 15th, and 16th. This is when the sun is exalted in the pada. And then on April 24th, this exact exaltation by Rashi. Then on the 25th, we have Akshaya Tritiya, which we'll talk about in a minute, which is the very fortunate day. And then the 27th through 30th, you can see him in his own pada. And then the 4th through the 7th is the debilitation. Now, the new moon is on April 22nd, and that will be occurring in Aries. That doesn't look right. I must have made a mistake on that. It must be in Aries. And then you see on May 7th, we have the full moon. So we continue to see that Venus is in his own sign of Taurus all throughout this month. You'll note at the end of the month, he starts to station and turn retrograde. We see the movement of Mercury. He moves pretty quickly through Pisces, and he enters Aries on the 24th, which is the day that the sun is at exact exaltation. He'll come in there, and then he'll move out right through Aries pretty quickly, and he'll be going into Taurus on May 8th, right after the full moon. We also have Mars and Saturn, both Mars exalted in Capricorn and Saturn in his own sign. So with Jupiter there as well, Saturn tends to be the hotspot. Capricorn continues to be the hotspot for this month. That's where the most planetary activity is coming from. So let's talk a moment. On April 25th, we have Akshaya Tritiya. So this is the 3rd lunar day in the Shukla Paksha in the month of Vaishakha, which is spring. And Shukla is the bright half of the lunar transit, so the 3rd day. And this is considered to be the birthday of Parashurama. This is also the day where both the sun and the moon are in exaltation. So this happens every year in April, right around this time. And so it's a really powerful day. And so it's a time of restoration because both of the luminaries are in their exalted signs. It's a great time to make donation to support causes, and it gives success in all endeavors that you start on that day. So if you're planning to start a new project and you can wait, I would time it to begin on this day because you'll get the blessings of both sun and moon. It can give a lot of really good energy. And of course, if you're timing that, you'll want to make sure that those planets are placed in positive houses. So just something to mark on your calendar. Also on that day, like I said, Mercury enters the neutral sign of Aries. So you have Mercury joining the sun there, but they're at quite a distance apart by that time. On May 7th, Saturn is going to station at 7 degrees of Capricorn, and he'll actually turn retrograde on May 11th. So about 5 days before and after the retrograde motion, it's in a station. Saturn takes a while. So this is going to bring an intense Saturnian energy during that time. Whenever a planet stations, it becomes almost the most potent the planet in the chart. So this is a good time to think about how are you going to use that access to a lot of Saturn energy in those days. Additionally, on May 11th, which is the day that Saturn is actually turning, Venus starts to station at 27 degrees of Taurus, and he turns retrograde on them on May 13th. So we're coming into some really strong manifestation time. And so it's very interesting to think about how you're going to use those. Additionally, Venus is forming a Malavya yoga for fixed signs. So if your sun or moon or the chart you're looking at is in Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, then Venus has an additional strength in there because it's located in one of the angles of the chart. And so for Malavya Yoga, this indicates a wise, spiritual, brave, and strong person, but also they are kind. So the story here is that the Malavya, the greatest king of the Malavyas, was a symbol of the ideal monarch. So this means very positive leadership qualities. And he did not want to be king, but served at the request of his people with humility and love. So this is a very interesting thing to think about. If this is in your chart, you may think about if you're in a leadership position in some level, how you can really, manifest that energy. And you must be careful to be sure that, you have this opportunity to do something that's like really great. It may arise for you, and this would be a great time to put that into action. Saturn likewise forms the Shasha Yoga, which is for Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And this describes a commanding personality who will champion unfashionable causes. It's not interested in popularity. So they're able to shoulder responsibility and unafraid of facing karmic debts. So if your moon or your lagna is in Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, then, the end of this month, when they turn retrograde, it's going to be most acute, but they continue to be in these signs for the whole month. So throughout this whole time, you may be looking for doing things that are, in both cases, they bring the higher level of that planet through, a selfless service for Venus and Saturn. I think this is like really dharmic service. Don't do what's convenient, do what's really right. And it's probably going to be the more difficult path, but have the strength to follow those ideas and really implement them. Okay, so we're up to the sign by sign. So again, these are some ideas, and I always like to hear from people like what they think or what happens to them, how they experience these. So if your moon or lagna are in Aries, which is the natural zodiac, the sun will be in the lagna and will bring strength and healing to all areas of your chart. Plan to start a special project on Akshaya Tritiya, the 25th of April. Keeping busy will activate the positive Saturn yoga in your 10th house. Saturn likes hard work, so give yourself hard work and you'll actually feel better than on days where you just kind of lay around. Taurus, Sun will be placed in the 12th house. So getting good quality sleep will be key to activating your best qualities of leadership and service to others. Gemini, Sun is placed in the 11th house of gains. So reflect on your goals from last month and see if they're coming to fruition. With steady effort, you may resolve some long-standing obstacles. In Cancer, Sun is in your 10th house and may breathe new vitality into your career and work goals. So this could be good news. So, especially with the unstable state of many people with their jobs right now. With concentration, Saturn's yoga in the 7th will give deeper insights into career and relationships. So take that moment to reflect on this and see, see if really you're doing what you want to do, if you're spending your energy in the appropriate ways, both in work and at home. Leo, Sun is in your ninth house and will deliver positive results from past actions. When we receive unexpected positive rewards, we must ensure that we use them to support healthy goals for ourselves and others. So the ninth house is what we call positive karma from our past actions. But I, recently was reading and I thought it's very important, like when you get that good reward, when something comes unexpectedly to you, it's yours, but you have to think, how can you use this to help others? Because then you almost get a double hit off of the good karma. And it's really about sharing the positivity with other people. For Virgo, Moon and Virgo Lagna, Sun is in your eighth house. So meditate on using the Sun's healing energy to ameliorate any current health issues. Positive actions will yield superior results during this time. So this is a little effort is going to pay big rewards. Because when you think of the power of the Sun and his exalted states, it can be like exponential growth. For Libra moons and lagnas, Sun will be in your seventh house and can shed light on your relationships. As Saturn is seated in your fourth house of home and happiness, and Venus is in the eighth house of your partner's money, it's a good time to take a thorough self-inventory of the close relationships in your life. Talk to your partners and address issues now before they become more complicated. So Librans probably do this pretty much out of habit, but it's a good idea to just, zoom in on those, especially with everything that's going on, and especially if you're living in close quarters with these people now for months. Scorpio, Sun will be in the sixth house and can bring victory in legal and personal disputes. Use the positive Venus yoga in your seventh house of partners to be a magnanimous winner and see if your former enemy does not become a supporter. This way you avoid further negative karma. So this is just a reminder that when good things come to us, we should take them gracefully. When bad things come to us, we should accept them with the same grace, that equal-mindedness that we all strive for. And, once something resolves, really let it resolve. Don't hold grudges and, reach out to help the other person as well. If your moon in Lagna is in Sagittarius, the Sun will be in the fortunate fifth house. So this is a time to focus on creativity and sharing your gifts. This is one of the great things I've seen is how many people are doing such interesting things on YouTube. They're sharing their painting, their singing, their performance, all kinds of stuff. It's really been great. And I think we'll see more of that in the future. And I mean, you may think about how you could share your talents and gifts with other people just to brighten their day. So check in with your children and parents. On April 24th and 25th, it's especially auspicious. So make a donation or start a new project. Mantra practice will be especially powerful on these days. So take a little time to sit and do your favorite mantras, and you'll really get a lot of return on that investment. For Capricorn, Sun will be in your fourth house of home and happiness. So call your mother, improve or upgrade your property, clean out the home clutter, and start something that improves your mind, because it's also about higher learning and education. There's a lot of action in Capricorn going on, so make a list of one task per day, and you'll be able to make progress without feeling overwhelmed. My moon is in Capricorn, and I don't know how other Capricorns are feeling right now, but it just seems like so much is going on. And so I really, recommend just pick one thing and do it and get it out of the way. Otherwise, you just may find yourself being pulled in so many directions. This will get better as Mars moves out into Aquarius. So speaking of Aquarius, Sun will be in your third house. You can use the power of the Sun to promote a positive mental outlook. You will have the energy and stamina to do fearless self-reflection and investigation. Starting a journal or a blog will be a good way to process your thoughts and feelings. Take time to connect with siblings. So again, I'm going to talk a little bit about fearless self-reflection. this is, once Mars moves in there especially, the strength of Mars is to be able to look at ourselves with love and compassion and to see where we can improve in a gentle, steady way. This is not about self-blaming or shaming or anything like that. It's really taking your most loving look at yourself and seeing where you're being held back and seeing how you can alleviate those obstacles. Pisces, the sun will be in your second house and may bring positive financial rewards. If there is conflict in the family, take a positive role in helping bring people together without taking sides. Love each party for who they are and the issues may resolve. I mean, this is really the core of all dynamics we talk about in psychotherapy. It's when you can just accept the person for who they are and without expectation, then you are doing your part to resolve your half of the issue. We can't fix anyone else. We can only change ourselves. And so if we change our perception, it actually changes the relationship. So those are the ideas I came up with for this month. Let's check in here and see if we have any questions. I think that may be it. I want to thank everyone for attending. Like I said, I'll have this posted on the ACVA channel in, the next, by this afternoon, West Coast time. So I thank you all for coming, and I hope you continue to stay healthy and your family is all okay, and just do your mantras every day. I'm wishing you all the best. Namaste.